From the Crush Studio in sunny Florida, this is the Disney Crush Podcast. And now your two tempests in a teacup, Dave and Tony Ann.
On this week's The Disney Crush Podcast, what do you miss that hasn't come back since the great unpleasantness? There's still a number of things at Walt Disney World that hasn't returned. Will they ever come back? Episode 386 of the Disney Crush Podcast is starting right now. Hi, David.
Social distancing is the most wonderful thing in the world.
I know you missed this. You missed the little boxes that you had to step into in the lines. The 3 foot, 6 foot. They were 6 feet, weren't they? Apart. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was.
And then when there was a switchback, people didn't know how to handle the switchbacks because there was actually a big hole that you weren't supposed to stand in at all. But people would always stand in it and make Veronica crazy.
Those days were crazy.
Yeah, people didn't know.
But I didn't mind it. I don't mind the social distancing part and don't fill in all the available space. I like that. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because these people just have a tendency sometimes to be right on top of you for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand it. I some people, I just don't get it. Like, is there a reason you're literally on my back? I can feel you. I can feel your breath on my back. You're touching me. Some of them are like rubbing on you, like you're, and like whatever.
Dave, maybe you just attract that kind of person.
I don't know. It's us. I don't know. Maybe I just smell so good they just want to smell me.
That must be new. That must be good.
And I have to do the whole backpack thing. We had the backpack on, and you kind of just turn around, like you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you're close enough that my backpack can smack you, you're too close. That's about to get it.
So, David.
Yes, Tony.
There's been a few little bits and pieces of news. I think that Josh and Bob have been listening to the Disney Crush podcast because it was announced that both water parks will be open for the first time since the Great Unpleasantness. Starting May 21st, both water parks will be open. Mm-hmm. Well, I said it, there was no way they were going to get through the summer with just one water park with this free water park perk they're doing right now. Because the parks for the Florida spring break was last week and they were turning people away. They were saying resort guests only. And you can't do that when you're selling passes to people. You're selling people this water park plus sports ticket. You can't turn people away. So anyway, they have to have two parks open. I think this free water park deal. So if people don't know, if you're staying on property in 2025, you get a free day at the water parks for everyone in your room. Everybody listed on your reservation gets a free day at the water park on your arrival day only. So it doesn't matter if you fly in at 10:30 at night and the water parks are already closed. Tough. It's on your arrival day only. So plan accordingly. Some people are booking cheaper rooms off site and then coming in the next day if they have a late flight, or if they're staying at deluxe, they're booking a value room for that first night and then moving to the deluxe resort and using that. And if you have a split stay, you actually technically get multiple free water park stays. So you could also do that. So, but I really feel like they did this promotion to get people to go to the water parks because a lot of people have never been to the water parks. Have you ever been to the water parks, Dave? The Disney water park?
I have not.
Yeah.
No.
A lot of people have not. And I think that they wanted to get people to go to the water parks, bring their kids to the water parks, so that next year, when it's not free, because I don't think they're going to do this again in 2027. Next year, when it's not free, your kids will go, "Daddy, I really liked Blizzard Beach. Can we go back there?" And people will do it. Or pass holders for $99 will add the water parks to their pass next year because their kids really like the water parks.
When I go to Disney, I'm not wasting my time in the water park. I feel like it's wasting time.
Well, some
Unless I'm
people
going
like
there
that.
just for that. I mean, I have we
Yeah.
have rivers and creeks around. I mean, it's just, we got some beautiful rivers down here. It's
Yes, we do.
beautiful.
We also have
So, I mean,
alligators and brain-eating amoebas and all that stuff.
whatever. You're all, come on now. Think about all the stuff that's in that water, even though it's chlorinated. Ugh. Think about how
So
many people are peeing in that water. 99.9% of them are peeing, and if they're not, they're lying. The 1% is lying. So there you go.
I was looking at a picture today. The first picture that ever taken of me and Andy Hoffman, we were in the wave pool at Typhoon Lagoon. That's the first picture we ever took together. And it's
Yeah, you could tell by looking at his. You could tell by looking at his face he was peeing in that picture.
that was a really fun night though. That was one of those H2O glow nights, and I would definitely do one of those again. Those were fun.
Yeah,
I wasn't supposed to go to that. I wasn't.
Yeah,
I had no intention of going to that.
I know. That's usually what happens when you don't. Something like that happens. It ends up being a really good time.
Yeah.
And I was sad I didn't get to go because you guys did look like you had a great time.
Yeah, we really did. What I'm saying is, I bet that next year people will be showing up at the water park on their arrival day trying to use the free admission, and they'll have to be told, no, that was 2025. I just see it happening. I see it happening. I see the Facebook posts about people who were planning to go for their arrival day. And I just see it because people, they think that if Disney does things once, that they're going to do it forever, and they're not. And that's actually what our episode is about today. In minor news, Pop Century opened their coffee bar today. And the Fantasia pool at All-Star Movies reopened today. So take that, Epic Universe. We got a coffee bar and the Fantasia pool reopened. Who needs, monsters and Harry Potter? And I don't really think that Universal is shaking in their shoes over those two things.
Yeah, they're not worried about it, especially now after Snow White came out too. They're like, these guys are on a downswing. These guys.
So they also introduced some new ice cream treats at Pop Century, including an ice cream truck sundae. It's a sundae that comes in an ice cream truck. You want to go over there and get one right now?
No, even growing up as a kid, I never really liked the ice cream sundaes. I never understood the banana split. I'm like, ice cream and bananas just don't go together.
My husband likes banana split. My husband likes a banana split.
Maybe chocolate covered banana, but I don't know. Just put a banana. He
likes those too. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
The ice cream truck sundae is $27.79. It's a choice of soft serve. So you choose a flavor, Dave, with chocolate sauce, whipped cream, rainbow sprinkles, cherries, and Snickers bar pieces. Yeah. They have a Pop Goes banana cupcake, a yellow cupcake filled with caramelized banana and in a pastry cream with caramel latte buttercream. That sounds amazing.
That sounds like medicine. It's almost like you said lactate.
I said latte, not laxative.
Well, when you put all those words together, it didn't sound good. Whatever you said.
Okay. Whatever, Dave. All right. I think that's all the news I have, and I don't really. I think I had something, but I don't know if it's like too obnoxious. It's no. That's
before you get to obnoxious stuff, did you want to talk about Snow White at all and how terrible it is?
No, I don't really want to talk about it. No,
everybody's talking about it.
I have no desire to talk about it. I do have.
Did we talk about it yet? Did we ever talk about it?
Yes.
Okay.
We talked about it 2 weeks ago, David. Yes, we did.
Okay, if you don't want me to talk about Snow White, I guess I'll talk about something else.
I have a Facebook. It's well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you have to do the whole thing for this one.
What? Like what? A half an intro? Seriously?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a lame one, but go ahead, do your intro.
No, because now you're like, I don't know if you have to do the whole thing. How could I chop that in half? Let me try. Oh, this week's the bing, bing.
Okay, that's good.
That was half of it.
Yes, this is from Facebook. My brother and I are getting tired of PhotoPass photographers thinking we're a couple. So we're looking for suggestions on matching shirts that aren't coupley. We've actually had this happen, you and I. We had a picture in front of Remy, and the photographer was like, all right, go in for a big hug. And you gave me, and then like 5 minutes later, you went to the same photographer with Veronica. And so it was kind of
I remember
funny.
that. That was fun. Yeah. Oh, remember that
But,
time we
yeah.
went and the photographer was taking pictures and I turned around like I was peeing?
No, I don't remember
Like,
that.
yeah, I'm always messing. I know I should. I mean, I'm an adult. I got to stop being a kid.
So how do you, I think I would just tell the photographer, no,
Yeah.
we're brother and sister. Like when they say, okay, why don't you guys kiss now? Give her a kiss. No, that's my sister. I mean,
Yeah, who was that? Remember that when who was it? Somebody was in line for something and they said they heard people talking in front of them and they were talking about our
I think
podcast.
it was
and they
Amanda
said-
Bond was in the
And
line
then-
for Frozen.
And somebody said something about, yeah, I think they're married. And the other girl said, no, they're not married.
They were talking about
Do you want
us.
to be, Tony, you want to be my sister wife?
No, not at all. I have
No?
a husband. I don't know. I
Okay,
don't want
I'm
another
just
one.
checking. I mean,
No.
I've got two. I just need one more. So
Nope. Not interested.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, you don't know what you're missing.
I have a hunka burn in love. You know what today is, Dave?
Oh, I don't
Today
know. What is
is
it?
the anniversary of the day that a gentleman walked into Target to try on a shirt and
Didn't
walked
you say
out
that was last month?
walked out with my heart. No, that was my last month was no, February is the wedding anniversary. April is
Yeah.
the Target anniversary. The day we met, when he walked into Target and he tried on a shirt and I was the girl in the dressing room. Yeah, it was, and then we went to
So
Chili's.
you
and
went in
made
the
out in his
dressing room
car.
with him. You went in the dressing room with him? I can't believe it.
No.
Well, you just said you did. I was
No,
the girl
I
in the
was
dressing
the
room.
girl that worked in the dressing room that gave out the tickets. You know, like here you have 4 shirts. Here's a number 4.
Gotcha.
Not that I ever really counted that, but whatever.
Okay.
Michael's here.
Oh, this is Michael's Minute.
Also that on Saturday
On Saturday
after
Dollar Tree.
may we go.
Then he had to burp, so he's
Nice
gonna start
burp.
it. He's gonna start over now. Watch.
Sorry.
Okay.
It's okay. May we go
May we go to this place?
Wendy's? You went to Wendy's today with your day program.
Personally.
You want Wendy's so bad. I noticed you didn't get a Frosty today. I saw the receipt. They give you, you give them money to take them to lunch, so they have to give you back the receipt with the change to prove that they're not swindling. So he didn't get a Frosty today. Why didn't you get a Frosty? You got a cookie instead.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was your choice for the week. So I'm not going to take you tomorrow and get you a Frosty if you got a cookie today. He's doing this thing with his tongue lately, Michael. I know you haven't watched Harry Potter, so you don't even know. He's doing this. Barty Crouch Jr. He like flicks his tongue to the side, and it's like a tick, and he's been doing it all week. And I don't know if I need to be worried about that or not.
No, I wouldn't worry about it. It'll probably go away. Probably saw something on TV.
After Dutchie.
Or he's got a little I don't know.
After Dutchie.
Yeah.
After Dutchie.
Yeah.
May we go to this place until Sunday?
May you get what, please?
May I go to this until Sunday? Was there yes or Sunday?
I don't know what you just said. You want to get what after Dollar Tree?
After Dutchie. May we go to this place until Sunday?
I'm not taking you to Wendy's on Sunday. You went yesterday. You went today.
So was that
You don't get
Sunday?
Wendy's every day, dude.
Also says that.
Mm-hmm.
After Dutchie, maybe this place.
Okay, we'll see.
That's so was that yes or Sunday?
How about we talk about it after the podcast?
So I'll take that as Sunday.
He'll take it as Sunday. Okay. Okay, take it as Sunday. Let's go. Should I call Dad?
Yeah. Call Dad.
Barty Crouch Jr.
That's okay.
He's not moving. He doesn't trust. He doesn't believe you. He doesn't think you're going to do it.
Okay.
I can hear him slowly walking away when you grab that phone, and the door is
And now he's closing it.
right there. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, good.
So anyway, what were we talking about? Barty Crouch Jr.? No, I don't know.
About how you want to be my third wife.
No, I do not want to be your third wife. No.
You were talking about Barney. Yeah, the something. No,
Yeah.
what were you talking about?
It doesn't. No, that was Michael. No, I don't know. But that's yeah. So I don't know any good shirts for brothers and sisters to wear. There's like a Luke and Leia shirts. I mean, they kiss too, because that's how they roll in Galaxy's Edge.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
did you? I know you don't want to talk about Snow White, so I'm not going to talk about Snow White. But Jason Statham, he's got a movie out too. It's in it, and he's actually beaten her.
Jason Statham, yes, he's doing very
He's
well in the
beaten
box
Snow
office.
White. Can you believe
Mhm.
that?
I can because
I'm sure
he's Jason Statham. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, tried to put a major blockbuster up against Jason Statham.
oh well, no, it was doomed from the get go. But listen, the only thing that's going to save Disney right now, this whole debacle, the Snow White debacle, and I was so looking forward to it being good. I really was
Mhm.
hoping.
Mandy
Just don't
saw it.
deviate.
Mandy really enjoyed it.
Really? Well, I was
Mhm.
hoping it was going to be good because I'm like, just don't stray so far away from the original. I don't
Mandy
know why
said
they
the
gotta do
dwarves were adorable.
that.
She said
I heard
the
the
story
CGI was not
was-
good though. I heard because they had to rush it like Moana. They, because all the stuff that went on, so they had to rush it through, and they didn't do a really good job on the
I don't
CGI.
know.
I heard.
I don't
Okay,
know.
well,
That's
I'll
not
just
what-
have to see it
That's
for
not what
myself.
Miss Malinowski said.
Hmm.
But
Well, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. The only thing that's going to help is that Lilo and Stitch movie might save them.
Uh-huh.
Maybe. Sometimes you just got to know when to be quiet. You will suffer the consequences of your actions. That's what I've always been told. I tell my kids that too. I tell myself that too. You will suffer the consequences of your actions. So be careful, mister.
I don't want to talk about this on the podcast.
Okay. I'll edit all that out now.
Dave.
Okay. What else? What else you got? Hit me.
I don't have any. I hesitate to do this because it's not technically Disney, but it's from Reddit, and it's, am I the a-hole? Am I the jerk? Let's say, am I the jerk for refusing to swap hotel rooms with my friend because she didn't like hers? So my friends and I went on a girls' trip last weekend. We booked a nice hotel, but since we all have different budgets, we agreed that we would pick rooms based on what they were comfortable paying. I splurged a little and booked a suite with a balcony because I love having my own space in the morning. When we got to the hotel, one of my friends hated her room. She booked one of the standard ones, which was smaller and didn't have a view. She immediately asked if we could swap. I laughed at first, thinking she was joking, but she was serious. I told her, no, I booked this room specifically because I wanted the balcony and the space. She kept pushing, saying I wouldn't even be in the room that much and that I was being selfish by not switching. I stood my ground and said I paid extra for this room because I wanted it. If you wanted a nicer room, you should have booked it yourself. The mood got weird after that. She was clearly annoyed and sulked for the first night. Some of the other girls said she was overreacting, but another friend said I should have just switched with her to keep the peace.
Okay, your friend for one is an idiot.
Right.
And no, you should have kept your room. And your friend who wanted your room should have kept her trap shut.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, who does that? Who? I mean,
Wait, there's another paragraph that I didn't see. The whole trip felt kind of awkward, and she barely spoke to me the rest of the time. When we got home, I found out she was talking about me in the group chat with some of the others, saying I was stingy and ruined the trip.
oh gosh, wow,
No.
that would be check one less friend. Check that one needs to go.
Next time I stay at All Star Sports, I'm gonna tell Deirdre she needs to switch her villa at Animal Kingdom Lodge with me, and I'm gonna tell her she's stingy if she doesn't.
I would think she would be very stingy if she didn't do that. Yeah, and it's gonna ruin the whole trip.
Not want to stay at All Star Sports? It's
Lord.
has a big football helmet
Well, just tell her your view
and
sucks and you want a better view.
cheerleaders and
Yeah.
cheerleaders.
Right. You want cheerleaders or animals? I don't, come on. How could you not
I
want to
look
see
out my
cheerleaders?
room and I see cheerleaders. I look out my balcony.
They're everywhere. They're just everywhere.
And the guy in the room next to me got a little mad when I wouldn't move when I was having my morning coffee on the balcony at All Star Sports when I put my chairs out. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you, social
And
media.
I had no washcloths when I stayed at All Star.
No,
They gave me
right.
not one washcloth.
Well, that's a reason to not want to ever stay there again.
But when we stayed at Beach Club with Tori and Holly, I think there were 6 washcloths.
Oh, did you have a personal masseuse?
No, but see, deluxe finer things, you get washcloths.
Yeah, man.
I will say that we called down for blankets the first night, and the blankets at Beach Club, the ones they give you when you call housekeeping for a blanket, it's all plush and fluffy compared to the thin things they give you at Pop Century. There's definitely a difference. There's definitely a difference.
You know what they say. You know what they say, Tony, and you get what you pay for.
Yeah, what you pay for, exactly.
And you do. Well, not everything in life, but most of the time, be assured you get what you pay for.
Yep. Luckily, our podcast is free, so our listeners are getting what they paid for.
I forgot. That reminds me that I checked our numbers. Excuse me.
Okay.
I checked our numbers after the Moana because I thought, this is going to really maybe take some people off and maybe not want to listen anymore. But no, we're good. We still have the 3 same listeners that we always had. So we're good.
And Captain Bill listened last week. He sent us an email telling us that he listened and he really enjoyed the show. So hopefully he came back this week. He did join the Friends of the Disney Crush. I asked him to please join our Facebook group, The Friends of the Disney Crush. So if anybody else out there wants to connect with us on the Friends of the Disney Crush in Facebook, that's where we share some of our shenanigans and news when it comes up. You could actually see pictures of the ice cream truck sundae that I described earlier.
Yeah, Captain Bill. Mate.
I had.
You know what they should do? You know what Bill? Hey, wait. Hey, you know what Bill should do? Bill should dress up like Captain Jack Sparrow.
Okay.
That would be cool if they got to dress up like that. How cool would that be? Have your Captain Jack Sparrow. Oh, watch. You just watch like in a week and 2. I can't believe we booked a fireworks cruise and the captain was actually dressed up like Jack Sparrow. It was so cool.
I think you'd have to pay extra for that.
Well, I'm just saying, they listen to us all the time, so they always
that's true. Josh and Bob are our biggest fans.
That's one right there, though. They could have some fun with that one.
And when I say Bob, I'm talking about Chapek, not Iger. Chapek still listens.
Chapek.
Because he saw that I used to wear a Thanks Chapek shirt in the parks, and he was like, "Finally, somebody thanks me."
He was very thankful. Very thankful. We might have to give him.
What would happen if I wore that shirt in the parks, like now? Like if anybody would, I don't know.
Well, yeah, you'd have some people that knew.
Thanks, Chapek.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, David. Our topic came because I had seen somebody asking about Tables in Wonderland on Facebook, and that got me to thinking about all the other things that aren't back yet. So I wrote a list of things that weren't back yet that I thought people would miss. And then I asked our listeners if they had any other ones. Turns out my list pretty much mirrored what a lot of our listeners said, but I had a few other things. But
what would they say?
Our listeners? What did our listeners say?
Yeah. What would you say? What did you say?
Well, I'm not going to read the whole list because that'll negate what our listeners said.
Okay. Well, you're going to find out anyway. So go ahead.
My list was pretty thorough.
Oh, okay. Well, let's
the one thing I didn't say because I never used it because we're local and we never had to use it is the Magical Express and not only the Magical Express but having the bags delivered. You checked your bags at your home airport and they magically appeared in your room later that night. But Disney's actually, they are piloting checking your luggage at the hotel again. Beginning April 3rd, 2025, if you are staying at select Disney resort hotels, you can drop your checked baggage off with luggage assistance to be delivered directly to your flight. Currently, this is a pilot service available at Disney Value Resort hotels for guests with Southwest Airlines departing from Orlando International Airport. More details on Disney's website. So, yeah, you used to be able to check your bags at the hotel before you left, and then you didn't have to deal with them at the airport, which is nice if you're heading to the parks. And
Yeah, that is really nice. Yeah.
but that hasn't been back since. But now it's just at select hotels, just with Southwest. But it used to work in the reverse. It used to work that if you stayed on Disney property, you when you checked your bags at your home airport, you had special Disney luggage tags, labels. They had Disney on them. They had a green Mickey Mouse head, and when those bags got to MCO, to Orlando International Airport, they would get flagged because they had the special tags, and they would take them to Disney, and you didn't have to go get your bag at the carousel, and then they would be magically delivered to your room later that night. Unfortunately, it didn't know. My sister one time, she tried this, and she didn't get her bag until like late the next day because nobody picked her bag up. So it was sitting in the airport, and yeah. And I did hear other stories of other people where that happened, but anyway. But apparently, people really like to have other people deal with their luggage so they don't have to.
Yeah, well, that would be nice.
I, on the other hand, have to schlep my bag across the Pop Century parking lot with Michael and a case of water, and he'll carry like my purse.
Cookie.
And a cookie. Yeah. No, the cookie was in the pocket. Yeah. And I'm like,
Gotcha.
Michael, can you carry this? Can you pull this for Mom? And he looks at me, and he'll like walk 10 feet with it, and then he'll walk away from it. Yeah, So maybe I need to come in by air and have my bags magically delivered to my room.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that service. It would be nice.
All right. A lot of people said Magical Express, though. So what did Deirdre, your favorite listener, say?
Well, she said the Magical Express. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then she reposted. She said, "Is that what it was called? It's been so long." I don't know if she was being funny or serious. And then, of course, Kevin Curtis-Allen chimed in, "The Tragical Express on the way back to MCO."
Right. It was besmirkingly called the Tragical Express when you were on your way home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Disney used to do free airport transfers. They would take you to and from the airport for free. It had its disadvantages because you would have to wait until more people got on the bus sometimes, and you'd have to possibly stop at multiple hotels before you got to your hotel. So it actually it added time. Now, I don't know, a lot of time, but it added time to your travel, to getting to the parks. And then on the way back, you'd have to get there very early because it would happen in reverse. You'd have to go to different hotels and pick people up. And they would want a buffer so that, because not everybody flies at the same time. So people are remembering this fondly, but I'm remembering that by 2020, a lot of our friends had stopped using it. They had started using Ubers. They had started using private drivers because they didn't want to deal with that anymore. That a lot of people realized that for not a lot of money, I could get an Uber to just take me to my hotel, and I don't have to wait, and I don't have to go to other hotels, and I don't have to have other people. But Mandy had said to me the other day, the kids loved when you got on the bus and they had Disney movies playing, and it was kind of like you knew you had gotten to your trip.
Don't take the kids. You don't have to do it.
Don't take the kids. Well, Mandy's. I said to Mandy, I said, but your kids are so bougie that if you took them on a Magical Express bus now, they'd be like, who are all these other people, and why do we have to stop at their hotels?
Right.
Mandy said airline baggage check-in, which is what they are doing now at the Value Resorts for Southwest guests, Magical Express, and the Family Magic Tour at Magic Kingdom. Now the Family Magic Tour at Magic Kingdom opens up a whole can of worms. That is something that has not come back. A lot of the tours have not come back. Right now, there is a very limited number of tours Disney's doing. They're doing the Keys to the Kingdom at Magic Kingdom. They're doing the one at Wilderness Lodge, the Segway one. They're doing the nighttime safari at Animal Kingdom Lodge. They're doing the Savor the Savannah, because we did that, and the Wild Africa Trek. Deirdre just did that last week. I'm trying to think. I think they're doing something. I think they're doing one of the ones at the Seas at Epcot. But I think that's it. I don't think there's a whole lot of tours happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back in the day, I used to go on a couple of tours. Like I did the Backstage Magic Tour, which was like the Mac Daddy tour, where you went to all 4 parks and you spent the whole day and you went for lunch at a sit-down restaurant. I did that for my 40th birthday. That one never came back. That's the one where I went backstage and saw the topiaries being made, and went to special shops and saw them building the Little Mermaid ride vehicles. That was an amazing tour, but that never came back. They'd probably have to charge a lot of money for that tour now, because it was pricey back then. I'm thinking, it'd be a lot of money. But Rich and I went on a tour. There used to be a lot of tours in Epcot. There used to be a Segway tour in Epcot. There used to be an Undiscovered Future World tour in Epcot. There used to be one in World Showcase as well. Rich and I did the Undiscovered Future World. That's the one where we went to the Seas upstairs, and there's a corporate lounge up there, and there's a seashell encrusted baby grand piano. And the tour guide was so excited to tell us that one of the guys from REO Speedwagon serenaded his new bride on that seashell encrusted piano.
Well, you should have just sat right down and tickle the ivory and played him a song to him. Tickle that ivory, sing him a song.
Do you know your friend Deirdre plays the piano?
I do know. She's been playing since she was a kid.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear her play. I bet she.
No, you don't want to hear me play. You can hear her play, but
wow.
Yeah, but so we did the Undiscovered Future World tour.
Mm-hmm.
We went on Soarin'. We rode in B1 because the tour guide brought us in and ushered us to B1, and we got to.
Oh, you better. You don't have to watch anything crooked. That's good.
Mm-hmm. I think that was our 10th anniversary. We did that tour.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the tour. I can't remember the name.
You
of the
did
tour.
Marceline to Magic Kingdom. That one hasn't come back. The Marceline to Magic Kingdom tour. That was a really good tour, and I wanted to go on that.
For the price at the time, it was a really good one. Yeah,
it was. We got and you went down and the Haunted Mansion. You went down to the eye level in the ballroom scene, right?
Yeah, behind the scenes. Yeah, we got to go in the ballroom. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah,
and I think it was cheap too. It wasn't bad at all.
No, I got it for Olivia for Christmas that year.
Yeah.
So and I bought it for you and her, so it couldn't have been that much because
it was. Oh come on! What are you trying to say?
I bought because I mean
you got me the cheap one. Okay, it ended up being really good.
It was a reasonable Christmas gift for me to buy my niece. It wasn't extravagant, is what I'm saying.
No, it was good. It was good. It was far exceeded what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it was when we went in, we, they have everything laid on the table, all your name tags and all that kind of stuff, their lanyards around your neck, whatever. And all the tables had like 20 and 15 and 10. And then I'm looking for ours and it was just me and her. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a sucky tour. No one wants this tour. So we had the guy order ourselves and it was really good. Yeah, we got to go on that behind the scenes for Haunted Mansion.
Mhm.
We went to the Carousel of Progress
Right.
and a bunch of stuff. I mean, all over the place.
Cool.
And it was really good. Yeah. Yeah, too bad because I'd do that one again. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
I'd love to get you on a Keys to the Kingdom tour.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. All right.
Might have to take a second mortgage out now, probably.
So my co-host Dave, we discussed this before, said social distancing was the best thing to come out of the great unpleasantness 2020. Holly Austin agreed with you. Those were the best trips. She loved not hearing, please fill in all the available space.
Exactly. That's kind of how I felt. I really missed social distancing.
Mm-hmm. That was something that the great unpleasantness brought.
Yeah,
They got rid of it after.
Bill Mitchell said 24-hour diners, a Jersey thing.
Yeah, well, like I meant Disney and Bill Mitchell.
I know. Well, see, I know. I didn't play fair. Bill didn't play fair. See, okay.
But I do miss a good diner because back in Long Island we had good diners too, and you don't have that here. Like
No.
The diner I would go to when I was a teenager, like when me and my friends would go out to the movies and then we'd hang out and then we'd go to the diner at 11 o'clock. They had everything. They had breakfast. They had burgers. They had chicken parmesan. They had ice cream. They had these big cakes in the spinning glass. They had everything. Like the menu was humongous. And like I don't think about that now. Like that meant food probably laid around, right? Because if I came in there and ordered the, linguine with clam sauce or something, when was the last time somebody ordered linguine? Most people go in there and order eggs or a burger, right? So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the restaurants. You never know.
that would be kind of sketchy to order something weird.
Just don't think about it. You just go in
But
there.
I remember I used to always get a vanilla Coke. And so.
Oh, nice.
So I got one of Beaches and Cream last week because it just reminded me of that.
Did it bring back memories?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Futrell. I believe Walt Disney World was built on imagination, creativity, and ingenuity. The true spirit of Walt will never be back in full swing until they bring back the one thing that truly encapsulates his vision. The sake bar at the back of Mitsukoshi department store.
He's not wrong.
The sake bar. Christmas is the sake bar. They did bring back, I think they did bring back the Pick a Pearl finally. It took a long time to get that back. Yeah.
It was there when we were there last week, whenever it was. Yeah.
But,
all right, so that's another thing that people probably missed, and now it's back. Julie Dylingowski.
That sounds right. I think you got it.
Magical Express.
Yeah. Jeremiah has been hanging out with Bill because he said, I know this probably isn't what you're asking, but an open 24/7 Walmart. That is not what we were asking. We meant Disney. But
no, but you can go to Walmart and then go to the diner. See, they got it going on. Yeah.
Rich and I, when we were together, when we were newly together, and we would go shopping at 2:00 in the morning. We would go shopping at 2:00 in the morning. And the people you see at Walmart at 2:00 in the morning. But I got to tell you, I have not stepped in a Walmart in I don't know how long. If I have to go to Walmart, it takes a lot for me to finally say, okay,
I have to really gear myself up and get,
I can honestly say it's been years since I've maybe if there's some obscure thing for Christmas that I need that is only there. But even then I'll do the curbside delivery. I'll do the curbside pickup. I do not want to step foot in that place, and I really don't want to give them my business, but that's a different story for another day.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I had to go get some stuff there the other day, some oil for the car. I had to do an oil change and actually picked up some vitamins. So there's a few things that I get there but
you can't.
I just go in the back door, like the back by the nursery.
Yeah, by the garden.
Yeah, I slide in that way and go through self-checkout and then just get that all. Yeah. And then I always mark myself safe. on Facebook, so everybody knows I'm safe.
That you got out.
Yes.
The very interesting people go to Walmart at 2:00 in the morning. I do have to tell you that.
Oh yeah. Oh, for
Mhm.
sure. Jennifer Vats,
Mhm.
package delivery to resort.
And that actually was popular. You'll hear that again. Other people said that back in the day, Disney used to, if you were staying on property and you made a big purchase in one of the gift shops, you could just say, I'm staying at Pop Century, and they would send your package to the resort. They used to, back in the day, back, they used to deliver it to your room, but then it started to be, you pick it up at the gift shop at the hotel. So if you were staying at Pop, you would have to go to the Pop Century gift shop and they would have it behind the counter for you. But they have not brought that back. And another thing they used to do, even if you weren't staying on property, and I use this a lot. I use this more than the back to the resort pickup, because I think the back to the resort pickup, you couldn't get your package till the next day. And I didn't want to wait till the next day. You used to be able to buy something, say you were in Mouse Gear in Epcot or the Emporium, and you still had things you wanted to do in the park. You could tell them, can you have this delivered to the front of the park? And it would be waiting for you when you left the park that night. You could go and show your receipt and your package was waiting for you at the front of the park. I use that a whole lot more than the back to the resort thing.
Yeah.
Michael's back. He's leaving, but he's still close.
He's lingering.
He's lingering. Susan Bankston says she misses the Wolfgang Puck Express. I miss the Wolfgang Puck Express too. Unfortunately, that ship has sailed. It's now Eat by Manit. The Indian quick service over there
that
in the back.
No,
but
you guys didn't like that.
I loved Wolfgang Puck Express.
No, what it's turned into now.
I think we wish that they would have leaned into the Indian flavors and not tried to appeal to the American palate. I feel like it's like either go all in or don't bother.
I agree. Got to go all in.
I don't know. We have some friends that like it. I know Jeff Apolka loves it. So maybe we need to give it a second chance. But I feel like it's kind of doomed back where it is because people don't see it back there. It's kind of pushed in the back, and it's if you're not looking for Indian food, it might not cross your mind to go seek it out. Where I think if it was more up front and center, people might look at the menu and they might say, oh, well, maybe we could try this and, or smell the smells and be enticed to go in. But it's kind of pushed in the back behind the Christmas shop, behind Earl's Sandwich. So I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Janice Ann says, free Fast Pass.
Yep. Free Fast Pass. I miss that too.
We all do.
Jason Svoboda. I don't know if we lost it then, but I missed the Muppet dedicated store in Hollywood Studios. Yeah, we did lose that and COVID. It never reopened. There was a store in Hollywood Studios when you left Muppet Vision 3D. There's a store right there. You could still see it, and it never reopened after COVID. And it was a Muppet centric store. It had Muppet merch, and it never reopened. He also said also misses the shooting tin targets at Magic Kingdom. They turned that into a DVC lounge. So I don't think that had anything to do with COVID. Because actually, after COVID, they had it open. It was free. Mm-hmm. Remember, it was free. So I don't think it had anything to do with COVID that closed. Yeah.
But he did say he meant actually the 10 Ducks Gallery. I got to shoot at back in the late 70s. Holly Austin says Magical Express, like everybody else. Airline check-in, Bon Voyage breakfast.
That was the breakfast with Rapunzel and Flynn Rider and Ariel and Prince Eric at Trattoria Al Forno.
It was pretty popular.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't brought that one back because they did finally bring back 1900 Park Fair. Trattoria Al Forno has become popular as a breakfast spot.
Really has, yeah.
For non-character breakfast, but I gotta tell you, the menu, like when we went for G3 in 2022, it was much better than it is now. It's like the pizza that used to be shareable. Scott and I used to share that pizza all the time. Now it's really not shareable anymore. It's kind of
No, well that all
individual.
happened. That all
And-
happened around COVID. Yeah, that all happened around COVID time.
No, we
Yeah.
went after. No, Dave, before COVID, it was a character meal. We went after COVID when it was no longer a character meal, and we got a
Right.
huge pizza
Yeah.
that we used to share. And
I
now
know.
that had nothing to do with COVID. It was after COVID.
Okay. Okay. All right. It was after COVID, but it just seemed like it was in that whole time period though. That you know what I mean?
No, it had nothing to do with
No?
COVID. We didn't start going to Trattoria until after COVID because
Right.
you never went when there were characters.
No, but I remember going there when it was COVID because we had to wear our masks in there, and then we could take them off when we sat down.
Yeah, that had nothing to.
So that was COVID to me. That's when everything started
No,
kind of
I
going
meant
downhill.
the closure. I meant things that didn't come back since the closure, and that's Bon Voyage breakfast.
Oh,
whatever.
okay. Yeah. But then you start talking about the food, how the food started changing too.
Well, yeah, the food did start changing, but I think that's just the economy.
Right.
But-
well, according to because of COVID, right? Because of the supply chain. That's my point.
I don't agree with you on COVID, the COVID affecting it though, because we went in 2021.
Uh-huh.
We went with Scott before 2021 was when Remy opened. It was the 50th anniversary. We went to the Remy preview with Scott and Karen and the Bowls. And Scott and I shared that pizza. That was 2021. Then in 2022, we went with all the geeks for G3. We went with 60 people. And that pizza was still shareable because a lot of people shared it at that breakfast. And then I went back from Michael's birthday it must have been 2023. And the pizza was notably smaller, but still kind of shareable. And by now, it looks like an individual size pizza. The pizza has just been getting smaller every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the menu is not as robust as it was. It used to have that tiramisu French toast. They've now changed that into a bread pudding. I don't know. The menu's changed. And if back in the day, I used to say, I hope they never turn it back to Bon Voyage because I loved the breakfast there. And now I could not care less if they turned it back to Bon Voyage. So if Holly Austin wants Rapunzel back, by all means, Josh, bring Rapunzel back because I'm not going to Trattoria anymore. Especially when the cake bake shop's right next door. And we had such a great meal at the cake bake shop.
Wow. I know you guys did say it was really good.
Yeah. So I think I would go to the cake bake shop over Trattoria. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Something I didn't say last week, and I should have, about when we talked about going to the cake bake shop. It is kind of difficult to get a cake bake shop reservation on the Disney app or on the Disney website. But if you go on Open Table, availability is wide open. So if you can't find a table on the Disney app, don't get discouraged. There's plenty of availability on Open Table. Just saying.
Good to know.
Anna Saez, the OG crusher, one of our first listeners, says, I really wish I could experience Magical Express one more time. They love that bus.
I'm telling you, there's been a lot of them. I know. Rick Forbes says, I can't think of anything.
Okay.
I guess he's happy. He's okay.
He's happy.
He's happy, man. He doesn't need nothing. Rick is low maintenance, man.
He is. He's a low maintenance Disney fan.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy Fox said one that was on my list, Tables in Wonderland dining card. Tables in Wonderland, if people don't know, was a program. It was a membership that you could buy if you were an annual pass holder or a Florida resident. And those were the only people that could buy the Tables in Wonderland card. And when I first bought it, it was like $50 a year. Then it went up to 60, then it went to 75, then it went to 80. And I think by the end it was up to 120. But what it gave you was 20% off at most restaurants, Disney-owned restaurants. Some of the non-Disney-owned restaurants, like the ones at the Swan and Dolphin, were included, and the bars and lounges, which if you're an annual pass holder, you're getting 10%, and you're not getting it at bars and lounges. So it was good for alcohol.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was good for, I think, up to 10 guests. So Rich and I used to have it. I remember back when, Rich liked Disney and he brought you guys to Boma with the little kids. I
I
know
remember that.
he flashed that Tables in Wonderland card. He thought he was like king. He was a big shot. He had that Tables in Wonderland card
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
probably paid $50 for at the time. But yeah, but it gave you 20% off for up to 10 people. It was great.
Hmm.
And we'd figure it out every year. Like, does it still make sense to buy it? And it always did.
Right.
Because yeah. I mean, if you're going to go so many times with so many people, the Tables in Wonderland totally made sense, but they never brought it back after COVID. They did honor it for a little while after COVID because people had bought them, and the cards were good for 13 months. They were good. You bought them and it was good until the month after it. So they were good for a full 13 months, these cards. And I guess people had bought them right before COVID. So technically they still had membership. And I think they had to do something for people who had bought them before, still had months on them when the parks closed. So when the parks reopened, there were still some Tables in Wonderland until finally everybody's cards expired. They weren't selling any new cards, and they just shut down the program. So once everybody's cards expired, that was it.
They're like, no more.
Right.
We're out.
Yeah. Wendy also said packages delivered to your resort, which we discussed. And the Jedi training at Hollywood Studios. That's one that hasn't come back. The Jedi training. Remember that? All the kids in their robes
I remember. Yeah. Yep.
fighting Darth Vader.
We used to sit at Backlot Express and get a little something to eat and watch them all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And every once in a while you get a smart ass kid who would bow to Vader.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And also the drop-off childcare at the Contemporary. Now, I think that was going away before COVID, though. A lot like the Lilo's Clubhouse and Simba's Club, they used to have drop-off childcare. If you wanted to go to dinner with your spouse, have a nice romantic dinner, they used to have like kids clubs at some of the deluxe resorts, and those went away. But I think they were starting to go away before COVID. That reminded me when she said dropping your kids off at the Contemporary, that reminded me of another thing that never came back. And that was a boat cruise. It used to be like a Pirates and Pals Voyages. It was a boat cruise. You went to the Contemporary. You had desserts. They had all kinds of desserts and ice creams and stuff for the kids. And the kids would run around and they learn how to be a pirate. And I think Captain Hook and Smee were there. And then after you had your dessert party, you'd all go downstairs and you'd get on a pontoon boat and you'd watch the fire. I don't think it was a pontoon boat. It might have been a little bit bigger boat. And then you watch the fireworks from the Seven Seas Lagoon. And then when you went back to the Contemporary to get off, to disembark, Peter Pan would be waiting on the dock for you. And you would have a meet and greet with Peter Pan. That never came back after COVID. And that was pretty popular. It was called Pirates and Pals Voyage. Yeah. So never came
Very
back.
cool.
Never came back.
Auntie Judy says shopping delivery to your room at the resort.
Right. And Jen Batchelder also said Tables in Wonderland and resort check-in, resort luggage check-in, and Magical Express. Very common themes here.
And Brenda Futrell says deluxe dining plan.
Yes, and that started a whole conversation
It really did.
because Mandy agreed with her. I did the deluxe dining plan when Rich and I had our 20th anniversary. It was 3 credits a day that could be used any way you wanted those 3 credits to be used. So if you wanted to go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a table service restaurant, you could. If you wanted to go to quick service, that would be a waste, but you could. You could use them on quick service, but you could use them on table service. So if you're smart, you use them on table service. You could get breakfast maybe at a sit-down restaurant and then use 2 of the credits for dinner at a signature restaurant, which is what Rich and I did most days. And you also got 2 snacks and a refillable mug. Rich and I, we'd have breakfast, and we would schedule dinner for much later. And almost every night we pushed our dinner back to like 8:30, 9 o'clock because we were so full from breakfast. So it was literally too much food. But that trip, we got to go to Hoop-de-Doo. We got to go to Flying Fish, Citrico's, Jico. We went to Sanaa for lunch one day. We went to the ESPN Club back before it was Cake Bake Shop. We went to Rick Bayless's Frontera Cucina. Went to a lot of restaurants on that trip. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. We went to a boatload of restaurants on that trip. And we had like one morning I went, because back then you could just come and go to parks as you please when you had an annual pass. You didn't have to make reservations. I just would get up early. I'd run over to Epcot for rope drop, and I'd go into the French bakery when there was nobody there, and I would buy him pastries with our snack credits, because we each had 2 snack credits a day. And I'd rush back to the room and I'd feed him pastries in bed.
Okay, that's enough. It's getting a little weird.
Cream puff for my cream puff.
Okay.
I love you, Dave. Michael's back.
I see that. The phone call to Dad didn't work. He's like,
yes,
yeah.
Today's Friday, dude. Today's Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday. That's how the days of the week work. Yep. Mm-hmm. What are you looking at?
What day is?
Where are we? Oh, we were talking about cream puffs. I got distracted. So then, okay, so we had the deluxe dining plan, and it was way too much food, but it was really good. And I mean, it was good for what we were doing, because it was a blowout trip for our 20th anniversary. We were, so, but I asked Mandy, because in the back of my mind, remembered this dining plan that they had just introduced right before COVID, and it was called the Dining Plan Plus. And Mandy found it, and it literally came out on February 27th, 2020. So it was really, really short-lived. So people that used the Dining Plan Plus were very few people, because the parks closed the second week in March, and the Dining Plan Plus started February 27th of 2020.
Wow.
I'm trying to see if I can find it, but it was the Dining Plan Plus was an upgraded tier of the Disney Dining Plan. You got 2 meals per night at your choice of table service or counter service. So, and 2 snacks per night and a refillable mug. So you got 2 credits. So the regular Disney Dining Plan, you get a quick service and a table service and a snack. And this plan, you got 2 credits that you could use however you wanted. So you didn't have to do a quick service. You could have done 2 table services. So
nice.
But it was only around for like 2.5 weeks before the parks closed.
Yeah, bring that one back.
No. The Dining Plan Plus.
Andy Hoffman says, shopping delivery to your resort. Just like Auntie Judy, I might be in the minority, but I was never a fan of Magical Express. I am impatient and want to get right to my resort with no added stops.
Like I was saying, a lot of people were starting to use Uber and Lyft by that point. Jeff Kessler, everybody's favorite Kessler, said dropping your bags at your home airport and then having them show up in your room is vacation bliss, except for my sister, who didn't get her bags until the next night. I remember the days of getting off the plane and heading straight to the park. amazing and sadly missed. So yeah,
Yeah, it's a
think-
good park. I mean,
yeah, it is. I mean, yeah,
Tom Allison says Magical Express.
Magical Express. So let me tell you what I had put in my list that wasn't there, and I had a couple of things that nobody else had said. Marceline to Magic Kingdom was one of them, and that Pirate Pals was another one. The Garden View Tea Room never reopened at the Grand Floridian. And, they did start a tea now at Cake Bake Shop, but it's a lot of money. But you know what? If the Garden View Tea Room reopens, it'll probably be comparable in price because everything's gone up. Room service has not come back. Room service is only back. And now Deirdre's texting me. Should I tell her we're recording a podcast? Room service has not come back. Room service is available at the Grand Floridian and the Swan and Dolphin and Swan Reserve. The other resorts have not brought back room service, which kind of stinks. And even the moderates and the values used to have like a modified room service. I remember at the moderates, you could get a couple of items and pizza. And at the values, you could get pizza delivered to your room. Not anymore. Because they used to have pizza at Pop Century. They used to have those like tie-dye carts that used to deliver pizza to the room. Never came back. But room service at the deluxe hotels, especially, I know people that stay deluxe are a little salty about spending that much money at a deluxe resort and getting their room cleaned every other day instead of every day, and no room service. Yeah. The bus after 4, if you were at the parks after 4, you used to be able to get a bus to Disney Springs. You cannot do that anymore. If you want to go to Disney Springs from a park, you need to go back to a resort. You need to go to a resort. It doesn't have to be your resort, but you have to go to a resort to get a bus to Disney Springs. So, Streetmosphere, and a lot of the little actors that would roam the parks never came back. Streetmosphere at Hollywood Studios, a lot of the Epcot acts, there are a few of them back now, but not all of them. The chair guy never came back in France. The guy that used to stack all the chairs never came back. Those are a few things, and I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, I had the Streetmosphere, and and little surprised that with all the foodies in our group that no one brought up the food. Like, what happened to the Nutella fruit waffle, Sleepy Hollow? Did that ever come back? That went away.
Yes, it came back.
It did come back?
Yeah.
Is it like the same exact thing, though?
I don't know, but that didn't go away because of COVID.
You see, I think all these food things went away because of COVID. Because the supply and demand didn't. So you lose. They couldn't do some of this stuff anymore, so they stopped getting them. They stopped doing them.
Okay.
Like the mixing bar at Pecos Bill. You don't think
the
that had anything
toppings
to
bars. The toppings bars. Yes, those never came back after COVID. But I'm thinking things that when the parks closed in 2020, these things were here, and now 5 years later they never came back. You're talking about things that have been here in the last 5 years that went away. I think that's the difference in how we're understanding.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just causing trouble. So the mixing bar is one of them.
Yeah, there were toppings. There were there's no more toppings. There's at Cosmic Rays and Pecos Bills.
Yeah.
People used to like make a meal at those topping bars. And they had actually scaled back a little bit before COVID because of that, because people were just going to the toppings bar and making a salad. They were just making a salad.
Yeah.
Can I have water with lemon? And they'd get water with lemon, and then they'd go and with the toppings bar, they'd take the lettuce and tomatoes, some pickles, some cheese, and they'd make a salad, and then they'd take the lemon and they'd squirt the salad, and that they had a lovely salad.
Wow. Sounds like you knew just what to do there, Tony.
No, I when we were first starting out and going to they used to have a double cheeseburger at
Cosmic.
Pecos Bills, Cosmic Rays, they all had like a double cheeseburger and I would order an extra bun for 49 cents. I'd order a double cheeseburger and an extra bun, and I'd give my kids each one of the patties.
That was a
Yeah.
smart mom
Well,
move.
they did away with there's no more double cheeseburgers. So yeah. And yeah, they used to do things like that. They'd sell you bread for like 2 slices of bread for like 30 cents. And then you could like go to the toppings bar and make
Of course. That's exactly what you do.
people used to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yep. But anyway, yeah, the budget boards on the Diz boards in their heyday, the budget boards were a plethora of that kind of stuff. Of these were people that had, full dinners back at their rooms at Pop Century because they had 6 crock pots going. So yeah, it was yeah. You see a lot less of the free cycle now than you did right before COVID. And I'm sure that has to do with people being more wary of germs. But the free cycle right before COVID had gotten crazy. I mean, that was when our group really started making fun of the free cycle, because there were posts where I ate half this pizza and don't want the rest. If you want it, come to room 27 and I'll give you the rest of my pizza. And people would take it from strangers. They'd take pizza that other people's kids had touched, and now people are a little more wary of that. But I mean, I wouldn't take a pizza other people's see, I know kids, they're gross. Like I have a half a box of Cheez-Its. Do you want this half a box of Cheez-Its?
Yeah, no.
And I'm thinking your kid put his hand in the box, put the Cheez-Its in his mouth, got the saliva from his mouth all over his fingers, put the hand back in the box, picked his nose, put his hand back in the box. But people would take that stuff, open boxes of cereal and chips and crackers and
milk and
they perishable. They would take the ham that I left in the laundry room. That's gone down. There's still some free cycle, but it's mostly non-perishables. It's waters and things like that. Popcorn buckets. Even the popcorn buckets I kind of a little scared of, because I've seen stories of people using them as vomit buckets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I remember that was a story that we read. That was one of our Good, the Bad, and the Ugly Facebook years ago, was to the person who stole our popcorn bucket from the sink at the Contemporary. My husband had gone in to the stall with my child and had left our popcorn bucket on the sink. And when he came out, it was gone. I just want you to know my child had been vomiting all day in the popcorn bucket.
Nice.
And
probably went right to get popcorn with it too. Oh,
yeah, that was one of our Good, the Bad, and the Ugly Facebook years ago.
Oh gosh.
So anyway, Dave,
well, we should probably end on that note.
If Captain Bill listened to a second episode of the show, he's probably not going to listen to a third, because he didn't know what he was in for.
It's like, I'm out. All right, Tony. Well, I guess that's going to do it then. Huh?
Yeah, I hope they bring back some of the stuff. I hope they bring back. I want room service and Rapunzel and Magical Express and everything. All the tours, Tables in Wonderland. They probably have to charge like $250 a year for that now.
Probably the way things are now.
All right, David.
All right. Well, I guess that's gonna do it. So, do you? I guess we'll see you guys next week. But are you sure you don't want to talk about Snow White?
I don't want to talk about Snow White.
Okay.
No, we talked about it. We talked about it already.
But it's so okay. Well, it's so fun to talk about.
It's not fun to talk about.
It is.
Mandy said it was great. She liked it, but she said she won't go back and see it again. She'll wait till it comes on Disney Plus. So that's my review right there. She liked it. Right. She's glad she saw it, but she won't go back. She'll wait till it comes on Disney Plus to see it again.
Okay. Well, I'll wait. I'll wait for Disney Plus. All right.
Okay. But Jason Statham.
You're not going to wait. You're going to go right to the movie theater, be in the front row seat.
Maybe.
Turkey and truth has spoken! Put a check on that. Can you do that, Dave? Can you put a check on that one?